Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. I haven't been doing this setup quite often, and I really like the setup. Sometimes I guess changing the environment and room that you're in kind of impacts the lighting and how things are, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. Here I am. This video, I wanted to talk about the power of trusting ourselves and how we can bring that into our everyday life. So, part of trusting yourself and knowing your truth is not relying on someone else, right? It's so often and it's so quick that we can trust someone else but not ourselves. And the one thing I learned is that the more I was trusting myself, the more I was listening to the voice inside me that was calling me towards something that was, bringing my attention from where I should be and how society perceives me to how I feel my soul aligns, right? So if you're, been experiencing a lot of shifts in your life at this moment, and maybe there's a lot of things you want to improve about your life, but you're not finding that clear path to where you want to go, and you're scattered and cluttered by so many thoughts. Your way to, finding that clarity and peace within yourself is through really simple acts of, slowing down and being mindful of where you are. Because how many times have I maybe considered my actions and my words and considered the path that I was living? Maybe I doubted where I'm headed in life. Maybe I doubted my choices. Maybe I doubted just my inner calling on myself because of the distractions that I've been having, because of the noise that was going on outside of me, right? So when I'm kind of in that state of meditation, this state of calm, what tends to happen is that we think, right? So I say we think that our answers come from outside, right? We think that our answers are external. We think that our answers are, coming from a place where we need authority. We need someone to tell us, hey, this is the best case and this is what you gotta do. And it takes us and it pulls us away from our voice instead of really trusting and surrendering. And I learned that presence through mindfulness. I learned that presence through meditation. I learned that presence when, I'm fully just in stillness with myself and my thoughts, even if those thoughts were not really the most amazing thoughts, or they're not so pleasant. But because I was, focusing on redirecting that chaos, that scatter inwards, that I was able to listen to my own voice. So part of trusting your intuition is you got to remove all the noise, all the voice that doesn't belong to you, that you don't resonate with. And there are certain people in your life that come in waves and in phases you needed them the most. Maybe it's not expected that the universe kind of brings that to you, but there's a form of connection that happens there. There's a synchronicity that happens when you trust yourself and trust your voice. If you feel that you've been just living out of alignment with your truth, trying to please everybody else around you, then it's time, and it's your calling right now to start seeing the patterns that you've been sucked in and the things that you keep telling yourself. So, what do you really get out of speaking bad towards yourself, speaking negatively, being really harsh, being unpleasant, being negative, and sort of feeling that energy in you that it's heavy. You feel at a certain point that it's heavy to carry that much, and you keep fighting for something that doesn't belong to you. And you let that resistance take you into a loop, into a cycle where it continues to repeat itself, where the universe and whatever you believe in, your highest power or your highest self, maybe it tells you, hey, you know what, you need to walk this way, or you need to walk this path, or you need to change this, you need to leave this relationship, or you need to pursue a different career. What we often do is, when we don't trust ourselves, what we do is we just deflect that and say, you know what, no, I think that's just, it's not my voice, or this is not true, I'm scared to go there, or no, this is just, a unclear expectation. We put off all of those, I would call it mental chaos, to cover up our intuition out of fear. And when we feel fearful, we're often not going to do it. We're not going to go out for that opportunity. We're not going to trust ourselves, because we think what is in here, what's logical, is actually the one we should run after, when it's actually the quite opposite. Is that when we're not trusting that, we continue being pulled away by two different energies, right? So an energy that wants to create here is trusting. It's more intuitive, it's beautiful, it's crafted its own way. But there's fear, and there's this other part where it's like, no, the logical part that says it's going to be hard, what are people going to think? No, this is not right for you, this is not good enough, you're going to fail, and all these different mind chaos that tends to happen. And then there's a split and pull between which one should I follow, and there's a kind of like a tug and war between, should I go for this or should I go for that? And then what most people end up choosing is the path of fear, the path of the unknown, the one that's not supportive, the one that's not trusting, the one that's filled with, I don't want to take risks or else I'll fail, and scared of judgment, you want validation. What happens when we don't trust ourselves and take a path where it's not authentic? We are battling life's energy. We're battling what the universe wants to present to us. Instead of taking it and seeing it, it's like opening a new book and being like, okay, in order for me to get through these chapters, I need to first open the page. Like, I need to see the first page, read the chapter, and then I can get to the next one. That way I can see, what's this book about? Is it resonating? Is it helpful? What can I learn from this book? You got to open the book and you got to see the cover, you got to see the few pages, you got to read the the contents of the book, right? Same with life. Whatever universe or kind of the world brings to us that falls on our lap, instead of opening it and seeing what it's presenting, we tend to just push it away. And by pushing away, we think it's gone. By that intention, there is something that is planted there for a reason inside of you. But by not looking at it, by ignoring the signs, I use the book as a metaphor. When we're ignoring the signs, when we're ignoring what we can learn from an experience, an opportunity, a relationship, we're not really seeing what's in it. We're judging it before we have opened it, right? So when we're having that judgment before we've seen something, before we let ourselves experience that opportunity, we're deflecting away could be amazing chances, and also there are challenges in its way. but you need to see the opportunity. First, you need to receive it. So as in opening the book. So opening the book is receiving. And once you've received, you are turning in the pages to see what is there, right? What is there in the book? What is in there for you? So with the opportunity that comes as you're receiving it, you're welcoming it, then you get to immerse yourself and experience what is this opportunity trying to present to me? And how can I learn more about it? How can I bring it more into my life? How can I experience it in a different way? Even if it was challenging my mindset and my way of thought, but how can this thing really shift my life in the present, even if it wasn't perfect, even if there is, you don't really see the full picture, but even when you don't see the full picture, you still see what it's bringing to you. There's probably like few tips or few experiences it brings from your past, right? Or it could be something you were so scared to see and immerse yourself in, but because life wants to challenge you in a different way this time, and it's bringing it forth to you, so it gets to test you whether you're going to do the same things, repeat the same mistakes, or maybe bring in the lessons into this experience so that you see what you've learned and how you can apply this concept to every single opportunity that comes to your life. Opportunity or people or relationships or anything that is coming to you so you could receive. So I want you to sit with that a bit. And I know that I poked on different topics and different subjects, but it's all the same. It's all about creating a life where you're trusting yourself, you're trusting your voice, and you're relying on what feels good to me in the moment and how can I trust it, instead of what's the right thing or how have I done things and I'll do it the same way. It's saying no thanks. This time I choose to see it different. And I choose to walk this path with a different, pair of glasses. And that comes with time. It comes with time because as we are growing, we're evolving with our experiences, and we see it more as an opening and not as a test where it's telling us, no, you can't do this. So it stems from a belief. Whatever you're believing about yourself right now, you will see it in your life. You'll see it in your everyday experiences. You're going to see it with people. You're going to see it with anybody you interact with, right? But trusting and coming back to our truth is something that can never be taken away. Things, ideas, not ideas, well, perhaps things that come to you or things you can buy, that can be taken away easily. But whatever you are creating within cannot be taken. It cannot be taken by anyone because it lives in you for a reason. And if we use that for good, and I'll give you an example, right? So whatever you come here on earth and created with, that's what you choose to craft your life with. So whatever you're gifted with, maybe your intuition or maybe you have a strength of listening deeper than just words, that you can actually go into energy. You feel the energy of someone as they're speaking. That's, a state where I cannot really put it in words for you, but how I would say is that you feel the energy, you feel the frequency, the vibration of someone when they're talking, right? And that is a state of coming in touch with a higher energy, with a higher vibration. And with that, you can create a lot of opportunities for you, right? So using that energy to create, using that energy to motivate yourself, to encourage yourself. And you can even write it down on a piece of paper. Like, what are some things I'm gifted with that maybe I need to invite more trust so that I can maybe live a healthy life, I can attract the relationships I want, I can go for this amazing career that I've been wanting, I can speak my truth. So when you jot it down and you see that list, you're like, wow, I have this amazing gifts. Now, how can I really bring it in? How can I apply? Because I think that's what most people struggle with, is that I have all these things, but I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to, we think we need to tweak and shift and change, but it's the opposite. It's how can you use what I have right now? What are my gifts? And use more of it in my everyday life, even if it gets so busy, right? Because we all do get busy in life, but taking those moments to appreciate all the things you are without labeling if it's good or bad, if it needs improvement, and start to live your life from that state. And it gets to be fun. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. But my message to you throughout this video is that you can actually change and cultivate a life that works for you best. But you got to be authentic about what you put out there, what kind of person you want to become, and who do you say you are to other people. And yeah, using that energy to really understand yourself, to really understand the people that you interact with. And there were times where I didn't know who the heck I am, right? There are times when I've just been putting up a front so I could put up an image, and so people would perceive me a certain way. And when that wasn't fulfilling me anymore, it wasn't fulfilling me, I just had to accept that for that moment, just acknowledging where I am and choosing that I get to view it differently, right? Instead of talking down at myself, instead of thinking negatively about it, and being stuck in a fixing mentality where it doesn't get me anywhere. We think that by fixing, we're getting better, but we're not, because there's an inner belief that I'm not good enough and that I need to be fixed. So anything that comes from fixing is always going to end up you being against yourself or being against a part of you you dislike. So trust your path, trust your inner knowing, know that everything is happening for a reason, and anything that you are struggling with right now is temporary, and you get to choose how you behave, you get to choose how you speak to yourself, you get to choose what life you want to live. But you need to align yourself with that. Your energy needs to align with what you want, and that means changing your habits, maybe meditating every day, bringing and cultivating more presence into your life, and changing your inner world with to find that clarity and peace within yourself. I cannot tell you how kind of my life had been shifting when I begun meditation, and when meditation is a part of my life, as well as yoga, right? These two things have changed my life tremendously, especially with my anxiety, especially with my depression that I struggled with. And now I get to help people cultivate that peace within, and I help those women empower themselves, knowing they don't need someone to tell them what to do, but they need to trust themselves more, rely on their voice, listen to that voice. Do not ignore it, but bring more awareness, to be more playful, more mindful, more just unleashed, and seeing that it's your beliefs that shape you. It's your beliefs, your identity, your past experiences. We've come here to be together, to work together, to heal together. And when we are healing together, you're impacting everyone that you're speaking with and everyone you're in contact with. Because whatever work you're doing on yourself, it's not just you by yourself. You're with the world. You're with the frequency and energy. And I experienced that in my life. Anytime I was in state of presence, anytime I was detaching from an outcome or from being a certain way, which wasn't my truth, or being in a state where I'm in my truth and being in a state where that's me and I don't have any expectations, I would literally attract all people, all from all walks of life that are present in that state and that needs presence, that needs someone to listen to. And I'll find myself in rooms then being like, whoa, what's happening here? This person is dumping all this on me. And they're talking to me about all the traumas or they're, about life. And I took that first and I'm like, whoa, like, is this person in their head? Like, are they mad? Are they crazy? That's before I started kind of my growth journey and inner peace. But now I get to view it as, wow, that's so beautiful. I get to hold that space. I get to be that container where someone can be fully open and authentic because I was authentic and real with them. And when you are real with someone, you naturally allow them to become who they are because they feel that energy within. They feel that they give themselves permission to do the same because you've held that space for them. So everybody has gifts and you do have a gift in life. And to create from that space is just huge. You get to experience a lot. You get to, be this person that you've always known you are, but because of, society or whatnot, you detached from your truth, which now you must learn to come back to your truth, come back to what's authentic, come back to what fuels you. And like, there are crazy people out there in the world. You don't have to click with them. It doesn't mean you have to listen to baggages of people, but you get to draw the line, you get to put that boundary. But that happens when you know who you are, when you ask yourself reflection questions that then you would ponder on and think, oh, I didn't consider that, or could I consider this now? How my actions would change, how my thoughts would change. And bringing that state and transcending it into your relationships, and you would feel that energy start to flow out in the world through your presence and through what you bring to the table. So if you're interested to go deep, if you're a woman who's struggling to trust herself, who wants peace and clarity, who's feeling anxious and you don't know how to deal with your anxiety, because I healed from anxiety years ago, just from meditating, knowing my values, doing a lot of mindset work, body work, then you're in the right space. This is why I'm offering my one-on-one mentoring, where it's a 6-month container that we get to work together to cultivate peace within you, to create healthy habits so that you feel inner peace, and bringing that to your relationships and living a life of truth and no longer hiding behind curtains, no longer playing small, because you know that you're more than what you think you are. So if you're interested in joining the mentoring, there is a link below. There's also some few questions that you have to answer, so I know that you're ready and I know how to support you in that container. But it's life-changing, and I can never go back to who I was. I can only learn from who I was, but I wouldn't go back and regret anything or change anything because it made me the person I am today. So I invite you to do the same. I invite you to fill in those questionnaires, and if you have any questions, you can reach me out on Instagram. I check my messages there and I reply whenever I can. I look forward to seeing you there, and I will see you guys in the next video.